Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another podcast of mine, the Cold Brew Wrestling Podcast, where we have a lot of topics to discuss because what a phenomenal weekend it is to be a wrestling fan. We had a couple of pay-per-views and a couple of shows to go through by both WWE and AEW. This was surely an interesting weekend for sure, but we're gonna start with at the Castle, not of the Castle, but Clash at the Castle, which took place in Wales of the United Kingdom, and they made a whole theme about it, hence the name Clash at the Castle, because we're going back to the good old ages. I didn't watch the pre-show of either Clash at the Castle or the 0 hour of All Out, so I'm not going to be reviewing any of those matches. But Clash at the Castle held about over 60,000 plus members of what they call the WWE Universe. And wow, it was phenomenal building, phenomenal arena, not arena, but just feel, atmosphere. I think they did a better job with the production, because when I watch a WWE product, I get tired of the amount of camera angles that that switches. Like every time a person does a punch, a camera angle needs to change. I'm tired of when a person does a maneuver, there needs to be 5 different camera angles that needs to change in less than a second. So watching this pay-per-view, it looked like they relaxed a little bit on the cameras. Granted, they still switch camera angles here and there. It does get a little bit annoying, but I think they've done a better job just calming down, because this is a sports-based product, right? It's sports entertainment. You can call it what you will. Now that Triple H is more into the creative role, they are now accepting the words wrestling. They're now not as lenient as they used to be with words. So now we can use the words wrestling, pro wrestler, sports entertainment. You can call it whatever. But it is a sports-based product. And it's also a global-wide entertainment, because they don't just hit the US, they don't just hit the UK, but they hit almost all over the world. So this is a sports-based product, and it's just, if you're going to do that, you got to calm down with the camera angles at least. And so this pay-per-view, it seems like they have calmed down a little bit. Granted, you can still tell that Pete Dunne is still within the company, which is disappointing, but it is what it is. We're going to get started with Clash at the Castle. I don't watch WWE enough to know what everything is going on, but if you haven't watched the pre-show, you will see that the pay-per-view had been kicked off with Alexa Bliss, Bianca, Belair, Asuka going against Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Sky. And your winners, Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Sky. It was a pretty good show, actually, and it seemed like the crowd was in it. I can't really complain too much about this match. I'm actually glad the crowd wasn't all that silent or anything, but it was an opener, so of course you're gonna get the rowdy, chanty crowds, and it's not a phenomenal match to like blow you away or anything. And I don't know how necessary this match was. In an important scale, when you're watching this pay-per-view, I think it's just one of those things you could probably skip, because it's Bayley and her new faction. She's coming in with these 2 previous NXT members, and she's making a name for this faction. So of course you're gonna have to build with this faction. If you lose in your first match or whatever it may be, or if you just start losing in your early stages of the faction, it just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for any of your characters at all whatsoever, and then it just kind of defeats the purpose of what you're trying to attempt to do or what the mission is. So I think them winning was the right call, of course, but at the same time, I'm not too sure what the future direction is headed for this group. I don't know what they plan on doing. I don't know if it's just a complete takeover of the women's division that they want to do. I don't know if they want to win, the women's tag titles, the main heavyweight championship. They don't even call it heavyweight. The main women's title belt. I don't exactly understand the goal going on here, other than it's a heel faction. They're just going to be doing heelish things. So we move. It's something. If you're interested, you can watch it, but it's not mandatory. You're not gonna miss out on much if you don't watch it. Next up, we have the Intercontinental Championship match against with Sheamus versus Gunther, with the return of Imperial, Gunther's faction. I'm not gonna lie. Crowd was chanting Walter. I'm used to Walter. Why can't we just go back to Walter? I wonder if Gunther was Walter's decision to rename himself at this point. I think Walter's liking the name Gunther, but when you grow up, or not grow up, but when you see this star making a name for himself, he's known as Walter. And that's how he was introduced in NXT. That's how he was fighting in the Indies. And that's just how he became popularized, is with the name Walter. So when Vince was going mad crazy and changing names for everyone, Matt Riddle became Riddle. Austin Theory just became Theory. Pete Dunne became Butch. Now Walter became Gunther. Whenever they took over NXT, they just kind of renamed everything. And we all thought when Gunther, that name was introduced, it was a name associated with a Nazi, with the German background and everything, and people were hating it, and rightfully so. I wasn't a fan of the name either, and you would think by now the name would be changed back to Walter. People are still chanting Walter. Like, even on the previous show that he was on before Clash at the Castle, people were chanting Walter. So it's just one of those weird things where it's like, okay, fine. I don't know. Gunther is just a weird name. But we move. It was a good match. This is a match you could probably watch and be entertained. This is a match that I would definitely rewatch. Of course, Gunther took the victory. He's still in his early stages of holding the Intercontinental title. I don't think he should be losing it anytime soon. I think he might be holding on to that belt for quite some time. Gunther just looks unstoppable. He looks like a force not to be reckoned with. Now Imperial's back, so you definitely have an army. If you're going against Gunther, you're going up against an army. That's the kind of situation going on here. Even despite Sheamus having his own backup crew, it still wasn't enough to take down Gunther. And this was a great showing. This is something I would totally watch. Just good stuff. I can't complain there. Everyone looked good. Everyone absolutely looked good. No one looked bad on that match. We moved. That one certainly does get an A+. Next up, we got the SmackDown Women's Championship, and it's weird to me that there's still the SmackDown Championship and the Raw Championship when the brand split is just almost non-existent at this rate. It just seems like, I don't know, superstars are going all over the place. But Liv Morgan against Shinya Baszler. I almost said Blazer. I want to say Blazer. I have Blazers. Shinya Baszler. Liv Morgan wins. The match wasn't fascinating. You wouldn't be missing much. Granted, Liv also just gained the title. I think she needs to hold on to that title a tad bit longer before losing it to anyone else. Because if I'm being honest, I don't know if WWE is ever going to give Liv the opportunity that she has now ever again. I don't know if she's ever going to hold a title, maybe the Raw Women's title, but it seems like how they've been treating Liv previously, it seems like they've been pushing her off to the side and not giving her titles, and she's been jobbing for quite some time, and especially early in her career. So it's nice to see a redemption story like this, and it's nice to see Liv beating stars like Baszler. It's nice to see Liv Morgan actually going up in the top ranks and doing great stuff. However, the match here, I would probably rather watch Bayley, Dakota, and Sky that match over. This one, it was okay. It was quick. It wasn't that bad or anything. It wasn't that bad, of course. Liv Morgan did have a pretty good moveset going on throughout the match as well, so I can't turn that down. Good talent and everything, but just you're not missing much on this match. We move. All right. We have Edge and Rey Mysterio going against the Judgment Day. This match was a classic. I'd say it was a classic. It felt like a classic Edge and Mysterio duo going up against the Judgment Day. Of course, Edge and Mysterio did win. And then a shocking plot twist happened at the end. We had Rey's son, Dominik, betrayed Edge and Mysterio. Literally. Dominik kicked Edge in the groin. And Edge has this phenomenal acting experience, phenomenal realistic feel to this. Like, I don't know. Just something about the way Edge gives looks when he's taking a blow or something like that is phenomenal. Edge sold it 100%, completely well off it. I think that not many people are talking about it as much as they should. Edge sold that thing the most proper way you could sell a kick to the groin, and to feel betray. The feel of betray. Anyways, so Dominik kicks Edge in the groin at the end of the match after their win, and Rey Mysterio is like, please don't do this. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? And next thing you know, Rey Mysterio gets attacked by Dominik as well. Judgment Day are in its corner. Even though they're defeated, they're laughing. They're smiling. They're having a great time. And they walk it off. The match was pretty good. I'm not going to complain about this match either. It was nice to see Edge and Rey team up again, win the match. It all seemed good until the betrayal. Definitely a good highlight. Now, hopefully, that means they will give Dominik a haircut, because I don't understand what that mullet is. I don't know what this look is. I'm not vibing with it. I'm not seeing the future with it. I don't know. It doesn't scream I'm a champion hair. It just screams, I don't know. It screams his personality, that's for sure. And it's not like he's got a bad personality. It's just, I don't know. Mullet looks weird on him. We move. We move. I was excited for this match. Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins. The reason why I was excited is because of the promo that happened when Seth Rollins was calling out Matt Riddle's family. Since Matt Riddle wanted to talk about Seth's family, Seth Rollins completely ripped on Matt Riddle and his divorced wife and how the wife took his kids. And, things got heated and personal quick, and it felt a little bit real, and that was good content right there. That I was not expecting to see or hear. Seth calling Matt the B word a couple of times. Like, what are you going to do, Like, wow. Just interesting. I never would have expected that from Rollins either. But Rollins is an unpredictable character as well. Great stuff. And the match wasn't that bad as well. Match was good. Of course, Seth Rollins defeated Riddle. But, it was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I think that might have been the match. But the match of the night was certainly Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, of course, wins. Now, we have an upset because supposedly all of Roman's backups weren't able to attend that night. But what happened? A debut of Solo. Solo, I'm most likely going to mispronounce his name. Solo Sikoa? Well, he's a cousin of Roman. I believe younger brother of the Usos, I think. That's what I heard. He made his official debut to the main roster because he was in NXT for a little bit. And so he comes out, distracts Drew, and next thing you know, he's now part of the tribal, whatever they're calling it. I don't know what they're calling it, actually. The tribal clan. No, what are they calling it? Gosh, this is going to be annoying. Whatever. It's Roman Reigns' faction. And so once again, due to that, they did have a phenomenal match. It started off well, and then, of course, they slowed it down, and then they started using power moves, and then the false counts were phenomenal. The 1-2 kicked out. Everyone was having a time of their life. Of course, granted, where the event was held, people were chanting for Drew McIntyre. There was cheers for Reigns, of course. There in United States especially, people love Roman Reigns. And you know, I thought for the longest time Roman Reigns needed to be a heel. Especially in 2014-15 when everybody was absolutely hating him. That was the time where I was just sitting there like, just make him a heel already. Make him a bad guy already. People don't like his character and they're forcing him to be a babyface. And once he goes heel, you know, let him develop a personality. And then from there, he should be able to start getting fans. And this is now the turning stage of his career. He's a heel, but people are going to start chanting for him because of how dominant he's been. Well, with the help of his faction, of course. With the help of many things, he's been a dominant character, and he's been a champion for 2 years now, and people are going to start liking him again, and he's going to develop his own personality. He's finally going to just develop, and I think that's what needed to happen way back when, but at least we have it now, and that's what matters. So there was a point when both men were laid down in the ring mid-match, and Austin Theory comes out to cash in. And just as he was giving his briefcase to the ref for whatever reason, at the the timekeeper's table, Tyson Fury comes out of nowhere and punches Austin Theory like he's never punched a man. Literally, I've seen Tyson Fury throw so many punches, but this punch that he threw at Theory was like probably the most weakest and fakest punch that I've ever seen him throw. But, you know, got to keep that actor. Got to keep, I don't know. So, yeah, Drew McIntyre loses. Everyone walks off. And then next thing you know, Tyson Fury joins McIntyre in the middle of the ring. And they start singing. And, yeah, everyone's having a good time. It was an interesting event. It was smaller than what I expected it to be. I was expecting a lot more matches for where it was and the amount of fans that attended the event. Oh, sorry, I need to get a drink in my system. All this talking makes me want a drink. But the event overall, it was a classic WWE pay-per-view. I feel like WWE is heading towards the right direction in some things. Of course, there's still room for improvement. And, you know, a lot of these plans were Vince's ideas. So, of course, once all of Vince's ideas probably are no longer aligned with what's going on, because the pay-per-views and all that were probably set in stone by Vince before he sat off the chair. Like, this pay-per-view Clash at the Castle. This was most likely a Vince idea, so this is probably like something Triple H has to follow up on, because you've gone too far. You can't back up now. So this is something he's probably edited some of the matches and whatnot, but this was definitely one of the pay-per-views that Vince had to have set up before the event took place, before he retired. But hopefully going on forth, we'll see more and more stuff happen with Triple H's creative. We've seen what he can do in NXT, and let me tell you, I miss NXT in 2016, 2017. Good stuff, great stuff, and I feel like we're never going to get that NXT anymore. We're always going to have that small little NXT now that's in Orlando. Not as much popular as it used to be. I like the Gold and Black brand so much better than this colorful, weird thing that they're going towards, but that's okay, because everything has to move on eventually. You can't keep things the same. Even though, looking back, when Triple H was running NXT, it was probably one of the best things going at WWE, even when times were very bad in the main roster. At least we had NXT. That felt like the underground of WWE. That felt like underground WWE right there. So yeah, that was my review of Clash of the Castle. It was an okay show. It's not, I don't know. They could have done a better pay-per-view. I thought the amount of matches that were shown were small, and it was only 8 matches that I counted. And I'm like, oh, wow, for a big show like that, I'm surprised there wasn't any more matches. I'm surprised it wasn't longer. But that's okay. I mean, listen, as long as everyone in attendance was happy, that's all that matters, and it looked like everyone was having a phenomenal time anyways, so I'm not gonna trash on it. So we move. That was the WWE Clash of the Castle pay-per-view. It was nice seeing them in the UK as well. I like it when WWE does shows internationally. I wish they would do more shows in other countries. I like it when they go to Mexico. I like it if they go to like different countries in Europe. I like it when there's shows in Canada. Like, I think we need more shows at different countries to really spread this WWE universe. Because again, it's a global entertainment, and no matter where they go, they're always going to attract big popping crowds. Anyways, AEW All Out. You like my shirt? The Blackpool Combat Club shirt. We have a lot to discuss about with AEW. It's crazy the kind of things that's going on here. Now, again, I did not watch the pre-show or what they call the 0 hour. I can't review any of that. But we are started off with the Casino Ladder match. And this one's a doozy, all right? So first of all, frickin' heck, the first 2 men were Wheeler Yuta and Rey Fenix. They were the first 2 competitors. And it was starting off great. You know, they were pulling out ladders and whatnot, and a typical ladder match style. If you like that kind of stuff, this is a good match. Roosh came out next. He came in, made his appearance. Andrade came out, and of course they're gonna double tag team everyone. And we got Claudio and our surprise entrant, the Joker. This one was a surprise. Was just a black outfit and a devil mask. That's who won the oh yeah, sorry. Dante Martin also came out before the Joker card. Sorry, Dante, I didn't mean to put you under the bus, but he did pretty phenomenal in the match as well. Sorry, it's just my mind is everywhere, and I got this whole thing listed down, and I'm just reading it off, and it's just like my mind is going 100 miles per hour. So anyways, we had Wheeler Yuta, Rey Fenix, and eventually Roosh came out. Andrade, we had Dante, Claudio, and then our Joker guy came out. But before he came out, everybody was attacked by these people wearing black outfits. You couldn't see their faces or anything. They attacked everyone, and they cleared the way for the Joker. Joker comes out. He also is wearing a black outfit with a devil's mask. And it was later revealed that it was Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, Morrissey, Lee Moriarty, and Ethan Page. They all took off their masks, and they grabbed the chip card that everyone was trying to reach in this ladder match, and they gave it to the Devil. Who's the Devil? The Devil doesn't reveal himself. He teases a little bit in the middle of the ring once he was given the chip and won the match, but he did not take it off, and they all went their way to the back, and that was that. It was a short match, and wow. For a casino ladder match, you would expect something for like 20 minutes long or whatever, but this ran short, and I was surprised by it, and I'm like, all right. Next up, we have the AEW World Trios Championship Tournament Final, which, oh gosh, this is going to be a topic for later. Wow. It is the Elite, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks with Brandon Cutler going against Adam Page and the Dark Order of Alex Reynolds and John Silver. And let me tell you, this is another Trios classic. I absolutely love the Trios action that has been happening. I love the Trios tournament that was happening previously before this. The Elite going against the United Empire. That was a phenomenal match. Or the Empire going against Rey Fenix, Penta El Zero, and Pac. Like, phenomenal match. Just, I love that tournament style. I love how each match was guaranteed freshness of greatness. Everything, the build up to this match, the build up to this tournament final, lived up to its expectation. Of course, Don Callis joined a commentary team for this match. There was, in the beginning, Dark Order was hitting on Matt Jackson, and they were attacking his lower back. Hangman Adam Page wasn't even tagged. He came in the middle of the ring and stopped the Dark Order from attacking it because he felt a little sympathy going on. Because, earlier before this match, the past couple of months, it was hinted that there was intriguement between the Young Bucks and Hangman Adam Page. There was a little originally the Young Bucks wanted Hangman Adam Page to be their trios partner, but Adam Page stuck with the Dark Order, and then eventually that's why Kenny Omega came back, is because the Young Bucks needed a partner for this tournament final. Or not final, but for the tournament in general. And so here we are. This is the results. It turned out to be Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks against Adam Page and Dark Order. Now, eventually, things did get heated, and Adam Page no longer felt the sympathy for the Elite, and they just started duking it out, especially when Kenny Omega came to play. Before this match, prior, Don Callis was playing mind games with Adam Page and just trying to light the feud even more, as I could say. So, grade A match, top to bottom. You will be fairly entertained. Trios match is awesome. I don't know how they do it. It is phenomenal work by all six men. And we're going to talk about more of the trios and the heavyweight champion soon after this pay-per-view. But next up is the TBS title championship match. We have Jade Cargill against Athena. Jade Cargill wins. I don't think you're going to be missing much from this. I think what AEW is doing with Jade is perfect. I love what they've been doing with her. I loved everything that she has been able to accomplish. She is smashing through competition like it's supposed to be. And if Jade, for whatever reason, ever drops this TBS title, she has to be the Women's Championship afterwards. I truly believe that there is no one better than her. I don't know who else would be it. I don't know who else could. No one else could define a TBS title like Jade. When later down in the road, 10 years from now, someone brings up the TBS title, I'm gonna think about Jade because she is the horse of that freaking title right there, killing everything and everyone. Moving on, we have another 6-man tag, the TNT champion Wardlow with FTR going against Jay Lethal and Motor City Machine Guns. Now, I really don't understand why this match came together. I didn't really catch the full grip of the story. I think it's just a random match that they needed to add to the card, just a filler. And it's great seeing the Motor City Machine Guns. It's great seeing Jay Lethal. It's great seeing them all tag. When I was introduced to wrestling, I was introduced to wrestling by TNA. And of course, TNA had the Motor City Machine Guns and Jay Lethal. And I grew up watching those guys battle it out in the ring with other teams and whatnot. And good stuff. It's good seeing them again, too. Because I don't watch Impact enough to see these teams, to see any of these guys wrestle. So it's nice to see that. Now, of course, oh, sorry, my throat's like a little dry. I'm gonna have a sippy sip. Anyways, Wardlow pinned Lethal after a powerbomb, his signature, I guess, finisher powerbomb. Nothing surprises me there. You know, you got a champion squad versus a non-champion squad. I'm not too sure why FTR didn't have a tag match to defend their belts, and I don't know why Wardlow didn't have a match to defend his belt, but I think I would have rather preferred to see that rather than the 6-man. If you're going to have a filler match, I mean, shoot, you might as well just have FTR go against Motor City Machine Guns. That alone, I think, would have been better. Because this trios match, again, it didn't make too much sense to me. I don't understand the story. I don't know why it came together. It just sort of happened the way it did. And, I mean, respect to the Motor City Machine Guns, you know, you can't go wrong. It's not like the match was bad or anything, but it's just something you can skip. It's something that is not important, I don't believe. It's just, I don't know. It's not all there for me. But we do have a grudge match of Ricky Starks going against Powerhouse Hobbs. This is somewhat of a shorter match as well. But the Hobbs won. Hobbs won that match, and I don't know what they plan on doing with Starks. I'm a huge fan of Starks, or at least I'm a huge fan of what Starks have been doing. I wish Starks would have defended his FTW belt a little more often when he had that belt, because it seems like whoever carries that belt, it just gets pushed to the side anyways, and that belt doesn't get defended as much as I would like to on AEW. But yeah, so you know, Hobbs originally attacked Starks once Starks lost his FTW belt to Hook, and it was that moment when Team Taz was no longer Team Taz and all the members started doing their own thing. But what's next now? What's next for Starks? What's next for Hobbs? Now that this feud is over, or at least I think it's over, I don't know what more they can do. I don't know. It doesn't make Ricky Starks look good because this match was shorter than I would rather like it to be. So it doesn't give Ricky Starks the power. It doesn't make him look bigger. It doesn't make him look better. Powerhouse Hobbs is an absolute monster, an absolute force, and he's probably going to have a very dominant future, but I don't know what is the future for these guys. It's very interesting to see where this all goes to, but it is what it is. All right, we have the AEW World Tag Team Championship. The Swerve in Our Glory going against the Acclaimed. Everybody was cheering the Acclaimed. That crowd was red hot for the Acclaimed, and rightfully so, but at the same time, it is too early for Swerve and Keith Lee to drop their titles. They only just won it a couple months ago or whatever it may be. I don't think they're going to lose it that quickly. It's a good team that they got going on. But, man, everyone was rooting for the Acclaim. People were booing Swerve and Lee. Like, this is the first time I've heard that happen. Two babyfaces getting booed out of the freaking arena going on here. And it was a good match. It was a very good match. People were cheering the Acclaimed all the way. Boy, was that interesting, though. People were not happy. And at the end of the match, we had Billy Gunn come in to scissor Swerve, but the crowd wasn't having it. The crowd was not having it with Billy Gunn trying to scissor his fingers with Swerve in Our Glory. Interesting. Just interesting. All right. This is a match I did want to talk about. It's Toni Storm versus Britt Baker versus Jamie Hayter versus Shida for the interim Women's World Championship because Thunder Rosa is injured. I'm not too sure on what, but she is temporarily out. So therefore, interim. That word I feel like it's going to be played around more often now. But this is a match that started off okay, but ended up great. The crowd was not there for it, though. I feel like the crowd could have done better cheering, being more louder, because this match did get better. This match was great. There was hardly any botches whatsoever to this match. This match built better and better and better, and it got me interested in, like, oh my goodness, who's going to win? Oh, this person's getting pinned, but that's going to happen. Oh my goodness. Like, I don't know how the crowd was not into it. For a crowd like Chicago, as a fan just sitting there, I would have gone nuts. Like, oh my goodness. Like, these are 4 stars. These are huge stars. And I don't know why the crowd wasn't into it. Like, it was weird. I mean, people did get into it. There were people cheering, but it's not as loud as it could have been, and I don't know why. People were definitely chanting for Jamie Hayter. I think that was the star for the crowd, but unfortunately, Jamie Hayter was not the one to win, even though she was so close to getting it. Jamie Hayter was so close to getting the win, and then all of a sudden, Britt Baker out of nowhere pulled the referee from almost hitting a 3rd count. And boy, that was when the betrayal of Britt Baker happened. And now, Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter are no longer a thing. Which is a little sad, but that's what happens when jealousy gets involved. And Jamie Hayter's like, why did you do that? And Britt Baker's like, So, yeah, we'll see what happens. They're definitely going to start feuding, so it's going to be interesting to see how that results. But it is Toni Storm who takes the win, and I think that's a good call. Toni Storm is a good contender. I think she definitely deserved better in WWE, so it's good to see her as a world champion in AEW. Phenomenal. Next up, we have Jungle Boy versus Christian Cage. Something I did not expect happen was Christian Cage was introduced first, and then Jungle Boy was introduced secondly. He comes out of what they call it, the tunnel, and Jungle Boy is calling for Luchasaurus, so he turns around and starts waving at the tunnel. And what happens is Luchasaurus comes from the other tunnel, goes right behind Jungle Boy, and choke slams Jungle Boy through a table. Whoa. Stuff is happening. Jungle Boy just got demolished by Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus turns heel. What the heck? It was all plotted. It was all planned by Christian Cage. Phenomenal. The match did not last that long. essentially, Jungle Boy was thrown through a table. He was then thrown into the ring. Jungle Boy did get up and said he was ready, but Christian Cage speared him, kill switched it, and got the win over Jungle Boy. Oh, wow. All right, next up we have Bryan Danielson and Chris Jericho on what is a great wrestling classic. We see Chris Jericho really in his form of the Lionheart. Like, this is interesting to me. If it wasn't for AEW, Jericho said he would have retired by now. He hadn't had any plans to wrestle. He hadn't had anything to do with the wrestling business. And I don't know if this Lionheart phase is his final tribute to wrestling. Probably not, but I don't know. I don't understand, or I don't know why the Lionheart phase is coming back through Jericho. I just know that he has brought it back, and ever since he brought it back, he's been wrestling phenomenally. He's been keeping up with Danielson. He's been keeping up with Moxley. He's been phenomenally wrestling just every match that he's been in lately. He's still in great shape. He doesn't have that beer gut like he did in COVID era. Like, he's really fixed himself, and he surprises a lot of people every time he's in that ring. Like, phenomenal for the age that he's in and everything. He's wrestling like he is the Lionheart. So what a beautiful, just great stuff going on here. But Jericho did not win clean, unfortunately. While the ref was distracted, Jericho did hit Bryanson with a low blow, and then got the pinfall on Bryan. And that's okay, because, you know, it's people like Ric Flair. Did it all the time, played dirty, got the win. Everyone calls him a legend. I think this doesn't take away from the match. They've truly had a phenomenal match. Great match. So, we move. It's the House of Black. Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews with Julia Hart going against Sting, Darby Allin, and Miro. Now, of course, the good guys get the win. Sting involvement, he wasn't involved too much, but when he was, it was pretty good. I wanted Malachi Black to win. It's disappointing to see where the House of Black is going, because they are a force not to be reckoned with. This is a team that is dominating, that should be dominating. When Malachi Black debuted, most dominant person, killing Cody Rhodes, literally. I don't know how anyone can screw that up. I don't know what's the point of House of Black if you're not going to make him dominant. They look like a dominant force. I think Buddy Matthews and Malachi Black, they should be tag team champions. They look like tag team champions. I don't understand the direction of this team or where they're going, but I want to see more success from them. They are great. When Malachi was Aleister Black in WWE, people wanted nothing but the best for him. People wanted him in the World Championship picture. People wanted him to be in gold, like gold belts. But and when he came to AEW, it looked promising, but now it sucks. So I don't know. I just want to see the House of Black go somewhere. The 3-man tag match, it was a good match, but was it important? Probably not. Like, you could probably predict that Darby Allin and Sting, they're always winning. No matter what they do, they're constantly winning. Miro is just an added bonus, though Miro did play a part in the beginning of the match where he didn't want to tag in his partners. But essentially they all got over and they just started tagging each other. It's just a pointless 3-man tag. I don't understand it. Lastly, we do have the AEW World Championship match of Jon Moxley going against CM Punk. The home crowd of CM Punk, even though the crowd was 50-50, the Jon Moxley chants and CM Punk chants, it was a very great, phenomenal match. Great match. I give it an A+ on that one as well. I cannot hate that match. I think I would rewatch it. But CM Punk did get the pinfall. Though Moxley is a great champion, and it just feels like it's his time. It feels like it's Moxley's time. Nothing changes from there. When he held the interim title, I thought this is his time. And I was not ready for him to lose it because he is still in his prime, and it just everything about him says it is his time to be a champion. It is the promos he says, the promos he makes, the wrestling ability he does, and the matches that we have seen him gone through. He wrestles daily and almost every week for that belt. It's his time. Punk did get the win, and now both men have an even record of 1-1. And we're going to talk about this press conference, but CM Punk mentioned in a press conference after the match that people no longer look at Moxley like they used to when CM Punk was going against Moxley like 10 years ago or whatever. People will now look at Punk and Moxley as if they're like both on the same level now, because back then it was Moxley who was not on the same level, but now people are. And it's great to see that kind of stuff. Now, we're going to go right to the press conference. This is freaking phenomenal. So, CM Punk out of nowhere. I don't even know how to start this conversation, if I'm being honest. This is wild. But CM Punk starts ripping off on Adam Page and Colt Cabana. And he wasn't even asked a question about Colt Cabana and Adam Page. This just started happening out of nowhere, right after a match, too. Poor Adam Page. So, CM Punk apparently was not pleased with Adam Page when they were both feuding earlier this year. Apparently, Adam Page went over script in a promo where CM Punk's in it for himself. So, CM Punk, for whatever reason, held a grudge over the 2-3 month period when Punk was not wrestling and he was recovering. For whatever reason, he held that grudge and just got angry about it and ripped him off at the press conference for whatever reason. And he was calling out the EVPs for it as well, and how EVPs were just protecting his friends and whatnot. Weird stuff, man. Weird stuff. If you have not seen it, go see it now. That press conference is so weird. And I think everyone was aware of the Colt Cabana and CM Punk stuff. And there was rumors about like, oh, CM Punk fired or CM Punk made Colt Cabana move to Ring of Honor or whatever it may be. But that wasn't the case, and CM Punk, for whatever reason, decided to, I'm just going to address the whole situation on the press conference. And boy, was that wild. Wild. Apparently, now we all know Colt Cabana shares a bank account with his mother. Just random information. And CM Punk explains more about why the countersuing happened, why Punk and Cabana got beefed, and that part people aren't so mad about, comparing to CM Punk going off on Adam Page. Like, CM Punk even made a mention like how Adam Page didn't want his advice, and so Punk got mad about it. Like, I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with Adam Page, and even before Punk came into AEW, I think Adam was a phenomenal talent, and he didn't look like he needed advice. I don't know what advice Adam could be given. So if I were Adam and I was given advice automatically without asking for it, I could see that it would rub Adam the wrong way. But it seems like Adam is totally chill about it, considering that he is not the one who is suspended. So yeah, people got suspended. Freaking wild, man. A whole lot of people. So, after the press conference, after CM Punk got off, supposedly, backstage, there was beef between Punk, Ace Steel, and the Elite of Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. And it was addressed online that apparently Ace Steel bit Kenny Omega and Nick Jackson got knocked out. That is all the information we have at this moment. I don't believe there's anything more. Everything else is just rumored. But because of that, our AEW, Tony Khan has suspended the Elite and CM Punk and Ace Steel, plus others. I think I saw Christopher Daniels suspended. I don't know who all was part of it. I think Brandon Cutler was also suspended, but there's also news popping up that CM Punk has another injury, and that this injury is costing him 8 months. Though it didn't look like Punk was injured. Granted, he was through a rough match. Supposedly Punk is injured, and supposedly he's out for another 8 months. So the suspension's not going to matter to him anyways, because he's just going to be sitting at home anyways, right? So not like it matters. Though I don't imagine it being 30 days, because I'm looking back at, and he's not returned yet, and it's definitely been well over 30 days. So I'm trying to figure out, like, how long is their suspension system? Because I don't know. Speaking of Jeff Hardy, I hope to see Jeff Hardy soon. Phenomenal weekend. Tony Khan actually addressed this himself live on Dynamite, that there will be a new Trios Championship and a new Heavyweight Championship. And the Heavyweight Championship will be settled at the Grand Slam, so they have a tournament style. And Bryan Danielson had already defeated Adam Page in part of this tournament, so Bryan Danielson is the first one to start this tournament and to move up in the lines. So it's interesting. And we do have a Trios Championship already. It is Rey Fenix, Penta El Zero, and Pac, who defeated the Best Friends for the Trios. And it was a pretty good match, but it wasn't as crazy as we saw with, like, the Elite and United Empire and all that. But it was still a good match nonetheless. I'm not going to lie, I was hoping Best Friends would win, because Best Friends have been with AEW for quite some time. So I was hoping to see something there, but I guess we're just going to have to wait longer. I don't know. I just want Orange Cassidy to have a freaking wrestling belt already. But that concludes the podcast. That is everything that's going on this week. Freaking crazy week. And there's probably going to be some more stuff that's going to come out later this weekend, later in the week. And we're probably going to talk about it more on the podcast if anything else pops up. Very interesting, very good stuff. Oh, yeah, and Braun Strowman returns back on Raw. And for whatever reason, he's demolishing the tag teams. No, that doesn't feel like a Triple H thing. But for, I don't know. It's a step back to the tag teams on Raw. It's a step back for the tag teams in WWE. Like, we're trying to build tag teams. We're not trying to destroy tag teams. So why are we sending Braun to, like, destroy a tag team division? Like, weird. So weird. But Braun Strowman did make his return. The crowd was going crazy for him. Interesting, considering that he freshly came out of the Control Your Narrative faction going on there. And I don't know if anyone has seen EC3, but there's a picture of him at the NWA, a picture of his side, where his body is totally shredded, but he's got a gut. His gut has abs, but you can see his gut. And it's just, I don't know. You okay, EC3? You're not taking anything or something like that? I don't know. So yeah, that is the wrestling world that's going on. Crazy stuff. Absolutely crazy stuff, but phenomenal stuff. I am happy to be a wrestling fan, but at the same time, a little concerned about what's going on backstage. It's time for Tony Khan to start stepping up into his role. So we'll see what happens there. But that is that. Thank you for listening to me on another Cold Brew Wrestling podcast. If you like this, like it wherever you're at. And I will see you guys next week. But for now, go to bed.